The Black Yajurveda, Kanda 2, Prapathaka 1. The Special Animal Sacrifices. Mantra 211. He who desires prosperity should offer a white beast to Vayu. Vayu is the swiftest deity. Verily he has recourse to him with his own share. Verily he makes him attain prosperity. He prospers. He is an overswift deity. They say he has power to burn him up. This beast he should offer to Vayu of the team. The team is his support. Verily, being supported, he attains prosperity. To avoid being burnt, he prospers. He who desires a village should offer to Vayu of the team. Vayu leads these creatures, tied by the nose. Verily, he has recourse to Vayu of the team with his own share. Verily, he assigns him creatures led by the nose. He becomes possessed of a village. It is offered to Vayu of the team. Verily, he makes creatures abide steadfast with him. He who desires offspring should offer to Vayu of the team. Vayu is expiration. The team is inspiration. Expiration and inspiration depart from the offspring of him who, being fit for offspring, yet obtains not offspring. Verily he has recourse to Vayu of the team with his own share. Verily he for him begets offspring by means of expiration and inspiration. He obtains offspring. He who has long been ill should offer to Vayu of the team. Vayu is expiration. The team is inspiration. Expiration and inspiration depart from him whose illness is long. Verily he has recourse to Vayu of the team with his own share. He bestows on him expiration and inspiration. Even if his life be gone, yet he lives. Prajapata was here alone. He desired, may I create offspring and cattle. He took out from his body the omentum and placed it in the fire. The hornless goat and came to life. He offered it to his own deity. Then did he create offspring and cattle. He who desires offspring and cattle should offer to Prajapata a hornless goat. Verily he has recourse to Prajapata with his own share. Verily he begets for him offspring and cattle. The beard is the characteristic of man. The lack of horns of the horse. Having incisors on one side, only that of cattle. Having sheep-like hooves, that of sheep. The goat nature, that of goats. So many are the domesticated animals. Verily by their characteristics he wins them. He who desires cattle should offer one of a triplet to Soma and Pushan. The she-goat has 2 teats. 2 are born separately, the third for strength and growth. Verily he has recourse to Soma and Pushan with their own share. Verily they produce cattle for him. Soma is the depositor of seed. Pushan the producer of cattle. Soma deposits seeds for him. Pushan produces cattle. The sacrificial post is of Udumbara. Udumbara is strength. Cattle are strength. Verily by strength he wins for him strength and cattle. And notice a parallel about the animal sacrifice. We're not talking about bloodthirsty deities. At least that's not part of this narration. It's by carrying out this that one is capable of. One is, saved from fire. Typically we hear the fire of the afterlife. But, there's effects in this world too. Mantra 212. Prajapata created offspring. They being created went away from him. They went to Varuna. He pursued them and asked them back. He would not give them back to him. He said, choose a boon and then give them back to me. He chose a boon from them. It was the black beast with 1 white foot. He who is seized by Varuna should offer this black beast with 1 white foot to Varuna. Verily he has recourse to Varuna with his own share. Verily he sets him free from the Varuna's noose. It is a black beast with 1 white hoof, for it has Varuna for its deity and serves for prosperity. Sabar Banu. The Asura pierced the sun with darkness. The gods desired an atonement for him. The first darkness of his they struck off, became a black sheep. The second, a bright-colored one. The third, a white one. What they cut from the upper part of the bone became a barren ewe. The gods said, "Here has come into being a divine beast. To whom shall we offer him now?" Then the earth was small, plants were not born. They offered the barren ewe to the Aditya's desire. Then the earth became broad. The plants grew. He who desires, may I be extended with cattle, with offspring, be propagated, should offer this barren ewe to the Adityas as desire. Verily he has recourse to the Adityas as desire with their own share. Verily they extend him with cattle and propagate him with offspring. Yonder sun did not shine. The gods desired an atonement for him. For him they offered these dew-lapped beasts. To Agni, one with a black neck, to Indra, one with different colors, to Brahaspata, a white one. Verily by means of them they restored his brilliance. For him who desires splendor, he should offer dew-lapped beasts. To Agni, one with a black neck, to Indra, one of different colors, to Brahaspata, a white one. Verily he has recourse to these deities with their own share. Verily they bestow splendor upon him. He becomes resplendent in the spring. In the morning should he offer the beast with a black neck to Agni. In the summer at midday the beast of different colors to Indra. In the autumn, in the afternoon, a white beast to Brahaspata. These are the brilliances of the sun. In the spring, in the morning, in the summer at midday, in the autumn, in the afternoon. Verily he wins whatever brilliances there are. They are offered in the course of the year. The year is the giver of splendor. Verily the year gives him splendor. He becomes resplendent. They are beasts with young. With what is his power? Verily he bestows power upon him. He who being master of uttering speech cannot speak properly should offer it you to Sarasvati. Sarasvati's speech. Verily he has recourse to Sarasvati with her own share. She bestows on him speech, and he becomes an utterer of speech. His teeth are complete, therefore men utter speech whole. He who is long ill should offer to Agni a beast with a black neck, and a brown beast to Soma. The body of him whose illness is long goes to Agni, the sap to Soma. Verily he ransoms from Agni his body, from Soma his sap, and even if his life is gone, yet he lives. He who desires offspring should offer to Soma a brown beast, and to Agni one with a black neck. Soma is the depositor of seed, Agni the producer of offspring. Verily Soma deposits seed for him. Agni produces offspring. He attains offspring. The Brahman who, despite study, does not win fame, should offer to Agni a beast with a black neck, and to Soma a brown one. In that the beast is offered to Agni, thereby he places brilliance in him, and that the beast is offered to Soma, thereby he places splendor. The one with a black neck is for Agni, verily he drives away the darkness from him. It is white, verily he bestows brilliance on him. There is a brown one for Soma, verily he bestows splendor and radiance on him. He who has a dispute for Purohitship should offer a beast with a black neck to Agni, a brown one to Soma, and one with a black neck to Agni. The Brahman is connected with Agni, the prince with Soma, on either side of the beast. For Soma, there is one for Agni, verily with the brilliance. With the Brahman, he seizes on either side the kingdom, and forthwith appropriates it. They choose him as Purohita. One of the very common things in mythology is the tying of the day to the seasons. The more typical, the more typical is sunrise, the spring equinox, sunset, the fall equinox, and midday, of course, noon. By noon, I don't mean 12 o'clock, I mean, the middle point of the day. And the cross quarter, about 5 days into May, is the same sort of mid-morning. And the late afternoon starts with the cross quarter about a week into August. The cross quarter about a week into November is the dusk. The dawn is the cross quarter a few days into February. And of course, this midnight, well, the middle of the night, not necessarily 12, is, the winter solstice. And I give the colors starting at the summer solstice would be white, so that's the same. And then we'd have red, blue, orange, black, purple, green, yellow would be the colors that I use. Mantra 213. The gods and the asuras strove for these worlds. Vishnu saw this dwarf. He offered it to its own deity, and he conquered these worlds. One who is engaged in a struggle should offer a dwarf beast to Vishnu, and he becomes Vishnu and conquers these worlds. He should offer on an uneven place, for these worlds are uneven, as it were. Barely it serves for prosperity. He who is engaged in a contest should offer a beast with a spot on its forehead, and horns bent forward to Indra, the angry, the wise. By power, Indriya. By anger, by wisdom, one wins a contest. Verily he has recourse to Indra, the angry, the wise, with his own share. Verily he bestows on him power, anger, wisdom. He wins that contest. He who desires a village should offer a beast with dappled thighs to Indra with the marutas. Verily he has recourse to Indra with the marutas, with his own share. Verily he subdues his relatives to him. He becomes possessed of a village, in that it is an ox, it is Indra's, in that it is dappled, it is of the marutas for prosperity. It has dappled thighs behind. Verily he makes the folk dependent on him. He who desires food should offer a brown paste to Soma. Food is connected with Soma. Verily he has recourse to Soma with his own share. He bestows food on him. Verily he becomes an eater of food. It is brown. That is the color of food. Verily it serves for prosperity. He who being meet for kingship obtains not a kingdom should offer a brown paste to Soma. The kingdom is connected with Soma. Verily he has recourse to Soma with his own share. Soma bestows on him a kingdom. The kingdom comes to him. It is brown. That is the color of Soma. Verily it serves for prosperity. He whose prosperity is gone and who desires support should offer a paste with a spot on the forehead and horns bent forward to Indra, the conqueror of Vritra. Verily he overcomes the evil foe and attains support. He who is seized by evil should offer a paste with a spot on the forehead and horns bent forward to Indra, the overcomer of enemies. The enemy is the evil. Verily he has recourse to Indra, the overcomer of enemies, with his own share, and he drives away from him the enemy, the evil. He who being meet for kingship attains not a kingdom should offer a paste with a spot on the forehead and horns bent forward to Indra of the thunderbolt. Verily he has recourse to Indra of the thunderbolt with his own share. He bestows his thunderbolt on him. The bolt kindles him for prosperity. The kingdom comes to him. It has a spot on its forehead. And horns bent forward. That is the shape of the bolt, and so it serves for prosperity. Mantra 214. Before getting into that, each appropriate correspondences are an important thing to try to learn. Yonder sun did not shine The gods desired an atonement for him. For him they offered this offering of 10 bulls. Verily, thereby they restored his brilliance. For them who desire splendor, he should offer this offering of 10 bulls. Verily, he has recourse to yonder sun with his own share. Verily, he bestows on him splendor, he becomes resplendent. He should offer in the spring, in the morning, 3 with spots on the forehead, in the summer at midday, 3 with white backs, in the autumn, in the afternoon, 3 with white tails. 3 are the brilliances of the sun, in the spring, in the morning, in the summer, at midday, in the autumn, in the afternoon. Verily, he wins whatever brilliances there are. They are offered in sets of 3, verily in order. He bestows brilliance on him. They are offered in the course of the year. The year is the giver of splendor. Verily, the year gives him splendor. He becomes resplendent. At the end of the year, he should offer a reddish-brown one to Prajapata. All the gods are Prajapata. Verily, he rests on all the gods. If he fears I shall become diseased in the skin, he should offer a dark paste to Soma and Pushan. The man has Soma as his deity. Cattle have Pushan. Verily, by his own deity, by cattle, he makes a skin for him. He does not become diseased in the skin. The gods and Yama were at strife over this world. Yama appropriated Bhagavata, the power and the strength of the gods. Therefore, Yama has his name. The gods reflected, Yama here has become what we are. They had recourse to Prajapata. Prajapata from his body fashioned out the bull and the cow. The gods offered a cow to Vishnu, and to Varuna a bull to Indra that caused him to be seized by Varuna and by Vishnu. The sacrifice, they drove him away. His power they appropriated by means of that for Indra. He who has foes should in strife offer to Vishnu and Varuna a cow, to Indra a bull. Verily, causing his foe to be seized by Varuna, by Vishnu, the sacrifice, he drives him away. He appropriates his power by means of that for Indra. He prospers, his foe is defeated. Indra slew Vritra, him Vritra slain, bound with 16 coils. From the head of Vritra came out cows. They were cows of Videha. Behind them came the bull. It Indra perceived. He reflected. He who shall offer him shall be freed from this evil. He offered to Agni one with a black neck, to Indra a bull. Agni, being approached with his own share, burned into 16 pieces the coils of Vritra, and by the offering to Indra he bestowed power on himself. He who is seized by evil should offer a paste with a black neck to Agni, and a bull to Indra. Verily, Agni, being approached with his own share, burns away his evil, and by the offering to Indra he bestows power on himself. He is freed from the evil, he prospers. He who is long in exile should offer a cow to the sky and earth, for he is not established in them. Verily, also he who is long in exile has recourse to the sky and earth with their own share. Verily, they establish them. He is established. It is one which is long in labor, for long in labor, as it were, is the kingdom of him who is long in exile. Verily, it serves for prosperity. The Vayu he should offer a calf. Vayu is their calf. These words are barren for him. The people are barren. Verily also, he who is long in exile has recourse to Vayu with his own share. Verily, Vayu causes these worlds and the people to give to him. These worlds drop milk for him. The people wait upon him in service. And so, like with the last one, when they say gods, they mean Devas, the unfallen angels, Malaika, light beings, Ahuras, and the Asuras are the fire beings, fallen angels, Jinn, other names we can put to that. But this thing about these things they're worshipping are Prajapata. It's like the Shemham Borash. You got all these different names of deity, and you add a al or a yah to the end of it, and then you have a representative entity that is exhibiting those qualities, which is why, for example, in the Maliki school of thought of Sunni Islam, they do not like people to be named with names like Gabriel and the like. Mantra 215. Indra opened the whole of Vritra, the topmost cattle he grasped by the back and pulled out. 1,000 cattle followed it. It became humpbacked. He who desires cattle should offer this humpbacked one to Indra. Verily he has recourse to Indra with his own share. Verily he bestows cattle upon him. He becomes possessed of cattle. It is humpbacked. The humpbacked is fortune 1,000-fold. Verily by fortune he wins cattle. When he obtains 1,000 cattle, he should offer a dwarf beast to Vishnu. Upon it the 1,000 rested. Therefore the dwarf, stretched out, affords the support to cattle when born. Who can obtain 1,000 cattle? They say, verily he should make up 1,000 days and nights and sacrifice the days and nights are cattle. Verily he gives support to cattle when born. He who desires offspring should offer a barren cow to the plants. The plants hinder him from offspring. Who, being fit for offspring, does not obtain offspring? The plants indeed destroy the pregnancy of that one which becomes barren. Verily he has recourse to the plants with their own share. Verily they from his own self beget him offspring. He obtains offspring. The plants are the waters. Man is what is not. Verily the waters give him being from non-existence. Therefore they say, both he who knows thus and he who knows not the waters verily give being from non-existence. He who desires prosperity should offer to Indra a cow, which is barren after one birth. He is unborn. Who being fit for prosperity obtains it not? The cow became barren after bearing Indra. Verily he has recourse to Indra with his own share. Verily he causes him to attain prosperity. He prospers. He should offer to Indra the calf, through bearing which the cow becomes barren. That indeed is power. Indriya. Verily straightway he obtains power. He whose ancestors and himself for 3 generations have not drunk soma should offer a bull, which has again been let loose to Indra and Agni. The soma drinking of a Brahmin is interrupted if his ancestors and himself for 3 generations have not drunk soma. Verily he has recourse to Indra and Agni with their own share. Verily they bestow on him the drinking of soma. The drinking of soma comes to him in that it is offered to Indra. The soma drink is power. Verily he wins power. The soma drink in that it is offered to Agni. The Brahmin is connected with Agni. Verily he continues his own deity. It is let loose again, for his drinking of soma is as it were let loose again. Verily it serves for prosperity. When practicing witchcraft, he should offer a hornless beast to Brahmanaspati. Verily he has recourse to Brahmanaspati with his own share. Verily he cuts him down to him swiftly. He reaches destruction. It is a hornless one. Prosperity is razor-edged in that it is hornless. It serves for prosperity. The sacrificial post is shaped like a wooden sword. The wooden sword is a thunderbolt. Verily he hurls a thunderbolt against him. The strew is made of sara grass. Verily he crushes him. The kindling wood is of Vibhidaka. Verily he splits him. And not drinking soma, well, but are they not of the ranks that drinks the soma directly? Are they part of the trickle-down thing? Yeah, that's where it comes from. Because up to the 8th generation, I think you can have flag art mushroom, but soma is this substance. So either way, you got to have it directly to be of this generation. And why are they not drinking it? Now, opium, ephedra, and marijuana obviously weren't something to be used all the time. None of those substances were. Being and non-being, yeah, that's an important thing. But it's not non-being as if there's something. It's like the no thing, non-existence, but it is existence. Mantra 216. He who desiring a village desires, may I be the back of my equals, should offer to Brahaspati a beast. with a white back. Verily he has recourse to Brahaspati with his own share. Verily he makes him to be the back of his peers. He becomes possessed of a village. It is with a white back, for it has Brahaspati as its deity. Verily it serves for prosperity. He who desires food should offer a dark beast to Pushan. Pushan is food. Verily he has recourse to Pushan with his own share. Verily he gives him food. He becomes an eater of food. It is dark. That is the form of food. Verily it serves for prosperity. He who desires food should offer a dappled paste to the Marutas. The Marutas are food. Verily he has recourse to the Marutas with their own share. Verily they give him food. He becomes an eater of food. It is dappled. That is the form of food. Verily it serves for prosperity. He who desires power should offer a ready paste to Indra. Verily he has recourse to Indra with his own. Verily he bestows power on him. He becomes possessed of power. It is ruddy and has eyebrows. That is the form of Indra. Verily it serves for prosperity. He who desires gain should offer to Sevatar a spotted paste. Sevatar is lord of production. Verily he has recourse to Sevatar with his own share. Verily he produces gang for him. His offspring desire gifts. It is spotted, for it has Sevatar as its deity. Verily it serves for Verily it serves for prosperity. He who desires food should offer to the all gods a beast of many forms. Food is connected with the all gods. Verily he has recourse to the all gods with their own share. Verily they give him food. He becomes an eater of food. It is of many forms. Food is of many forms. Verily it serves for prosperity. He who desires a village should offer to the all gods a beast of many forms. His relatives are connected with the all gods. Verily he has recourse to the all gods with their own share. Verily they subdue his relations to him. He becomes possessed of a village. It is of many forms, for it is connected with many deities. Verily it serves for prosperity. He who is long ill from an unknown cause should offer to Prajapata a beast without horns. Man is connected with Prajapata. Prajapata verily knows of him who is long ill from an unknown cause. Verily he has recourse to Prajapata with his own share. Verily he releases him from this weariness. It is without horns, for it has Prajapata as its deity. Verily it serves for prosperity. And one of the things that we come across is this idea of transmutation of substance. The Christian Mass is not where that started, but the Christian Mass does seem to stem from cults that would offer the animal, that the animal would become, or it would be the representative itself, that sort of thing. Mantra 217. The Vashat cry cleft the head of the Gayatri. The sap thereof fell away. Brahaspati seized it. It became a cow with a white back. The second sap, which fell, Mitra and Varuna seized. It became a cow of two forms. The third sap, which fell, the all gods seized. It became a cow of many forms. The fourth sap, which fell, entered the earth. Brahaspati seized it, saying, "Be this mine for enjoyment." It became a bull and a cow. The blood which fell, Rudra seized. It became a fierce red cow. He who desires splendor should offer to Brahaspati a beast with a white back. Verily he has recourse to Brahaspati with his own share. Verily he bestows splendor upon him. He becomes resplendent. The cow is the sap of the meters. Splendor is as it were sap. Verily with the sap of the meters he wins the sap, which is splendor. He who desires rain should offer to Mitra and Varuna a cow of two forms. The day is connected with Mitra, the night with Varuna. By day and night Parjanya reigns. Verily he has recourse to Mitra and Varuna with their own share. Verily they by day and night make Parjanya reign for him. The cow is the sap of the meters, the rain indeed as it were sap. Verily by the sap of the meters he wins the sap, which is rain. He who desires offspring should offer to Mitra and Varuna a cow of two forms. The day is connected with Mitra, the night with Varuna. By day and night, indeed, offspring are born. Verily he has recourse to Mitra and Varuna with their own share. Verily they by day and night beget offspring for him. The cow is the sap of the meters. Offspring indeed are as it were sap. Verily with the sap of the meters he wins the sap which is offspring. He who desires food should offer to the all gods a cow of many forms. Food is connected with the all gods. Verily he has a recourse to the all gods with their own share. Verily they give him food. He becomes needer of food. The cow is the sap of the meters. Food indeed as it were sap. Verily by the sap of the meters he wins the sap that is food. He who desires a village should offer to the all gods a cow of many forms. His relatives are connected with the all gods. Verily he has recourse to the all gods with their own share. Verily they subject his relatives to him. He becomes possessed of a village. The cow is the sap of the meters. He wins the sap, which is relatives. He who desires splendor should offer to Brihaspati a bull and a cow. Verily he has recourse to Brihaspati with his own share. Verily he bestows splendor on him. He becomes resplendent. The bull grazes at will. Splendor indeed is as it were will. Verily by will he wins will, which is splendor. He who practices witchcraft should offer a red cow to Rudra. Verily he has recourse to Rudra with his own share. Verily he cuts him down. To him swiftly he reaches destruction. It is red, for it has Rudra as its deity. Verily it serves for prosperity. The sacrificial post is shaped like the wooden sword. The wooden sword is a thunderbolt. Verily he hurls the thunderbolt against him. The strew is made of solder grass. Verily he crushes him. The kindling wood is of the Vidaka. Verily he splits him. And well, the thunderbolt against them, but we go back a few, and an animal sacrifice being the way of exorcism, and not necessarily, using it as a scapegoat. That's an interesting thing that set it apart, right? But if you desire, act. That's the main point come across here. Mantra 218. Yonder sun did not shine. The gods desired an atonement for him. For him they offered a white cow to Surya. Verily thereby they restored his brilliance. For him who desires splendor, he should offer this white cow to Surya. Verily he has recourse to yonder sun with his own share. Verily he bestows splendor upon him. He becomes resplendent. The sacrificial post is of bilba wood, whence yonder sun was born. Thence the bilba arose. Verily he wins splendor with its place of origin. He who practices witchcraft should offer to Brahmanaspati a cow with brown ears. First he should make to Varuna an offering on 10 potsherds. Verily he causes Varuna to seize his foe and lays him low with the Brahman. It has brown ears, that is the symbol of the Brahman. Verily it serves for prosperity. It serves. The sacrificial post is shaped like the wooden sword. The wooden sword is a thunderbolt. Verily he hurls a thunderbolt against him. The strew is made of sara grass. Verily he crushes him. The kindling wood is of Vibhidaka. Verily he splits him. He to whom the sacrifice does not come should offer a dwarf paste to Vishnu. The sacrifice is Vishnu. Verily he has recourse to Vishnu with his own share. Verily he gives him the sacrifice. The sacrifice comes to him. It is a dwarf paste, for it has Vishnu for its deity. Verily it serves for prosperity. He who desires cattle should offer to Tavashtar a horse. Tavashtar is the producer of pairings of animals. Verily he has recourse to Tavashtar with his own share. Verily he produces animals in pairs for him, for in him offspring and cattle have entered. Verily also the male horse straightway wins offspring and cattle. He who, when a contest is joined, desires an agreement, should offer to Mitra a white paste. Verily he has recourse to Mitra with his own share. Verily he brings him into harmony with his friends. It is spacious. Verily he encourages him. He who desires rain should offer to Prajapata a black paste. Prajapata is the lord of rain. Verily he has recourse to Prajapata with his own share. Verily he makes Prajanya rain for him. It is black. That is the form of rain. Verily by its form he wins rain. It is spotted. Verily he produces the lightning and makes rain for him. It has low horns, verily he brings down the rain for him. Now, in a way, we see the effigy sort of thing going on here, but not in the way where you have to make a graven image. It's like, well, this represents the weapon, this represents the entity, and all you have to do is ritually cast it down, right? Or obviously a touch more complex than that, but still. Mantra 219. Food came not to Varuna when he had pressed. He beheld this black cow, which is Varuna's. It he offered to its own deity. Then food came to him. He to whom, being fit for food, food does not come, should offer to Varuna this black cow. Verily, he has recourse to Varuna with his own form. Verily, he gives him food. He becomes an eater of food. It is black, for it is Varuna as its deity. Verily, sirs, for prosperity, he who desires food should offer a white beast to Mitra and a black to Varuna. At the union of the waters and the plants are connected with Mitra, and the waters with Varuna. On the sap of the water and of the plants do we live. Verily, Lai has recourse to Mitra and Varuna with their own share. Verily, they give him food. He becomes an eater of food. He should offer at the union of the waters and of the plants to attain both. The sacrificial post is bifurcate, for there are two deities. Verily, sirs, for prosperity, he who is long ill should offer a white beast to Mitra and a black to Varuna, and that one is offered to Mitra. By means of Mitra he appeases Varuna for him. In that one is offered to Varuna, straightway he sets him free from Varuna's noose. Even if his life be gone, he yet lives. The gods could not find prosperity. They saw it in the pair. They could not agree about it. The Asvins said, ours is it, do not claim it. It became the Asvins. Only he who desires prosperity should offer to the Asvins a twin cow. Verily he has recourse to the Asvins with their own share. Verily they bestow prosperity upon him. He prospers in offspring and cattle. And it's important to realize that sometimes our life and the life of our body are not the same thing. Mantra 2110. He who being a bad Brahmin desires to drink soma should offer to the Asvins a dusky beast with spots on the forehead. The Asvins were among the gods those who did not drink soma. They later acquired the drinking of soma. The Asvins are the gods of the bad Brahmin who desires to drink soma. Verily he has recourse to the Asvins with their own share. Verily they give to him the drinking of soma. The drinking of soma comes to him in that it is dusky. Verily he drives away the darkness from him in that it has spots on the forehead. Verily at the beginning he bestows brilliance on him. He whom men calumniate, though he has slain no one, should offer a gayal to Vayu. Impure speech comes to him whom men calumniate, though he has slain no one. The gayal is neither a domestic nor a wild animal. He is neither in the village nor the forest whom men calumniate, though he has slain no one. Vayu is the purifier of the gods. Verily he has recourse to Vayu with his own share. Verily he purifies him. The dawn shines away from him, and he enters the darkness. The evil to whom, when the litany to the Asvins is being recited, the sun becomes not visible, he should offer to Surya a beast of many forms. Verily he has resort to yonder sun with its own share. Verily it drives away the darkness, the evil from him. The dawn shines upon him. He strikes away the darkness, the evil. Now, light as a symbol of good is like, well, if there's light, then yeah, the darkness is just not there. Mantra 2111. And this one's by letters up to W. Some are listed by number. I'm not sure where this comes from because it's obviously English for the letters. Indra on all sides. On Indra men, O Marutas, what time from the sky, the protection which ye in contests we invoke Indra, swift to hear the divine folk working good, freeing from distress, Agna, Mitra, Varuna, forgetting Mahaka, sky and earth, the Marutas for welfare. May the moving one who strikes at morning delight us. May Vata delight us, pourer of waters, Indra and Prapathaka quicken us. May the all gods vouchsafe us this. I hail the dear names of yon impetuous ones, that, O Marutas, calling they may rejoice for glory. They are wreathed in flames in the rays of the sun. Adorned with rings, they are accompanied with singers, they wearing daggers, impetuous, fearless. Here found the dear home of the Marutas. First let Agna with the Vasus aid us. Let Soma with the Rudras protect us. Let Indra with the Marutas act in due course. Let Varuna with the Adityas quicken us. God Agni with the Vasus, Soma with the dread forms, Indra with the Marutas, worthy of sacrifice, Varuna with the Adityas, hath been in harmony with us. As the Adityas are united with the Vasus, the Rudras with the Marutas, so, O thou of three names, may the all gods without anger be of one mind, he in whose presence wheresoever men rejoice, in the dwellings of men, whom in honor they kindle, whom together they produce. When we offer food, the oblations of men, he by the might of his glory graspeth the reins of sacred law. The sacrifice seeketh the goodwill of the gods. Be kindly, O ye Adityas, make your loving kindness turn to us, which shall more plenteously deliver us from distress. Pure he dwelleth, undeceived, among waters rich in grass, waxing old with noble sons. None slayeth him from near or from afar. Who is in the guidance of the Adityas? Ye Adityas support the world, gods, guardians of all the universe, far-seeing, guarding the holy, righteous, enacting debts. Three earths they support, and three skies, three rulers are in their ordinance. Through sacred law, great is your mightiness, O Adityas, sweet is that, O Aryaman, O Mitra, O Varuna. Let us make supplication to those heroes, the Adityas, the tender, for help. Nor right is visible, nor left, nor the east, O Adityas, nor the west. Despite my feeble mind, O Vasus, led by you, may I attain the light without fear. With the most recent help of the Adityas, with their most present succor, may we be united. May the mighty ones, hearkening, establish this sacrifice for release from sin, for freedom. Hear my cry, O Varuna, to be merciful this day. Seeking for help, I call on thee. I implore this of thee, praising thee with my hymn. The sacrificer seeketh this with his offerings. Be here, not angry, O Varuna, O wide ruler, strike not away our life. And hold to the law, hold to the real spiritual law, and who knows what help will come, or what will come that doesn't require violating that law. I think of the Sikhs. One of the Sikhs things is they carry a weapon.